you ready? Who's this? Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. Today is exactly 1 month since I had her, and I thought it would be good if I try my best to just sit down and film this video before she's 1 year old, because this is how time flies when you have kids. And then honestly, I wish I had filmed this video earlier than this, but things happened. We spent about 17 days. Yeah, we spent like 17 days at the hospital. I will write about my labor and delivery in detail, and I will put that in the description box. So if you're interested in the whole story, go ahead and click the link in the description box. But in this video, I'm just going to focus on my labor and delivery in a summary, how I feel about it, how I've been going through it. So on the 17th of June, I woke up, my water broke like 6 in the morning. It wasn't like a gush with my boy, it wasn't dripping either, but it was coming a little bit by bits. I got up, I called my husband, he was awake already, and so we were excited. It was 39 weeks and 2 days, exactly the same day my water broke with my boy. As soon as I got up of the bed, I had a very huge mucus plug I've never seen in my life. Like, I've never seen my boy's mucus plugs, but it was huge, it was big like this. And so I had that was a little bit alarming. I wasn't too happy to go to the hospital, but I was really excited at the same time, because I know that means I'm gonna see my baby girl very soon. I didn't know how soon, but I knew I was going to see her. But I wasn't excited about whatever's going to happen in between me going to the hospital and meeting her. I ended up having an emergency C-section again, because this time I stayed without the water for 36 hours, even more than the one I did with my boy. I had no medications. I didn't know how dilated I was, because I was very keen to try for a natural delivery, and things were not in my favor basically. But I'm so happy that I wanted to have the feedback so I can properly focus on my kids and give them the best of me, but it didn't happen. I started having sign of infection. The baby was good, but then the doctor, they advised me to have a C-section or to wait maximum another 4 hours, but before that they would break the rest of the water, because I was having contraction every 5 minutes. The contractions were good basically, but the baby was not coming down, and there was something preventing that to happen, and I needed a doctor to break the water completely, because there is a risk that the cord will come out before the head and something like that, and it's not good for the baby. It's just too risky for midwives to do it. It depends who, and they actually were like, if you're happy for me to do it, I'll do it, but it's best to wait for the doctor. And I waited for the doctor for about 4 hours, and she actually came in and out. She was very fine, nice lady, but she didn't do it at the end, and another doctor came in to tell me to have the C-section done. It was called emergency C-section again this time, but it was much more relaxed than the one I had with my boy. With my boy, it was emergency. This time I had time to think, to cry, to even laugh while I was crying, because when I was crying my lashes were falling, because I had those natural extensions done, and they were just coming off, and I have to make sure I'm wiping properly, so it wasn't helping, you know. The kind of cry you have and just wipe your face wasn't the case. I had to be nice about me crying, and that was really funny. And yeah, this time around the C-section was like, it was as if I've never had it done before. I have not had any epidural or pain relief during the contractions time, and so I had to go through the epidural, and they were worried about them running out of anesthesia, so they gave me 2 different anesthesia. I didn't use the epidural, but they put the epidural on in case I might need more, because I had many major surgeries done on my stomach, and they are scared that they probably need more time than normal. If I'm right, I feel like my epidural has been done by somebody that was learning, but he was really caring. It wasn't like the first time where I had this person being rude to me. Anyways, I ended up having my baby girl. She was fine. She was weighing 3.12 kilograms at birth, and she was like so small. I was not expecting a small baby. My stomach was huge, and my boy's stomach wasn't that huge, and my boy weighed 3.7. So I don't know what happened, but she was so small and so cute. I was so happy to have such a small baby. I didn't know how to carry her, and the way she screamed the first time is like a kitten. Her scream is the cutest thing ever, because my boy never cried like a baby, you know, that no, my boy never cried like that. My boy screamed, he screamed like rah, this is that. And then this girl, she came screaming like a kitten, and I was so like, oh my gosh. And the 3rd day she changed it. She just like flipped. And then she was kind of like, what you guys were expecting me to be screaming like a cat all my life? Like, you guys, you know, I'm your kid. I will scream like the one you had before. She screams now. She screams now. And she's been so nice at the hospital. At the hospital, she has been sleeping so good, eating so good. Everyone was loving her. Everyone knew her at the hospital. I mean, everyone knew us at the hospital. We spent too long there. And so basically, she was so good. And as soon as we go home, Madame doesn't want to sleep. Madame just want to be in my arm. Madame just like being Madame. And I'm not complaining. It's just a little bit tiring. Not a little bit, it's tiring, but it's okay. It's okay, because I'm enjoying her. After the C-section, I was fine. The 3rd day, I started having high temperature every single day after that, and we're changing antibiotics every single day, blood tests every single day. I ended up having transfusion for the first time, blood transfusion for the first time. My girl had to go through antibiotic for 5 days, blood tests, and the way they take blood from babies, oh my god. And they do that 4 in the morning. I don't know, this is a thing, they have to do it 4 in the morning. And I went through it all, baby blues, crying, cannula inside my baby's hand, while myself I'm struggling with so much. I have souvenirs from those cannulation inside of me. Can you see that? So many of them in my arms. I was just like, can I have 1 day off without any needle inside of me? I had so small veins, like they couldn't even find them, and I had to have a kid's cannulation inside of me. But then I was going through like strong antibiotics. It was just not a good experience. And then I was having diarrhea. I was having diarrhea so bad that they put me in isolation. Good thing about being in isolation is that you have your own room and your own bathroom. It was a beautiful place, but it really made me feel like bad when I actually asked to pump some breast milk to put in the fridge so they can feed my baby while I'm gone for another scan, because I was going through so many scans and radio, or for them to give my baby when I'm having pain, and you know, because when I'm having high temperature I'm like literally shaking like this, and then sometimes babies just want to eat and I have to put her on the breast, and then I'm having these contractions from breastfeeding, it's my uterus contracting, and then at the same time my back get it in. Talking about it is just gonna make me sick again. I don't want to talk about it. It was not what you will want when you go and give birth, and I started questioning myself, why can I not just, you know, push this baby out and that's it. And for those who doesn't know, I was a good candidate for a VBAC, and if you don't know what is a VBAC, to start with, is giving birth naturally after a C-section, because I ended up being a victim of people condemning me for choosing to have a natural birth after C-section. They thought that it was impossible and that I was crazy to wanting to have that done. And I don't even know why people even think that they have the right to, you know, say something when it comes to somebody deciding on their delivery and labor plan, like excuse me or excuse you. This is something that I really didn't appreciate, because it really hurt me that people think that it's right to comment on that. If you don't know, research. Don't just judge people for deciding, because obviously I decided something that for me would be the best, but then it happens to be a bad decision because I ended up having temperature, having sign of infection, and my baby has to go through antibiotic as well as me, and they didn't know what's wrong with me. We didn't find out. I just ended up being fine, and I left. Yeah, so I was telling you about the isolation. When I asked them to keep my milk with other people's milk, they said we cannot do that because you're in isolation. We cannot keep your milk with other people's milk. And then my husband asked them, but don't you have a special fridge for those that are in isolation? They're like, no, we don't. And which is okay, but the thing that made me very upset is the fact that I look at my baby and I was like, oh, so you guys didn't even try to take this baby away from me. You think that I might have some infection, that obviously you're protecting other people, which is okay. I'm completely okay with it, but what about my baby? Nobody came to be like, oh, we have to take this baby away from you, or oh, stop breastfeeding, or anything like that. Even though I would say no, because one of the nurses was that caring. She came to me, she said, oh, for the scan you have to drink this thing, and for 24 hours you should breastfeed. And I was like, you know, I cannot pump any of my breast milk, so I can't do that. It was mentally challenging for me, even though I prepared myself for that. If you follow my other videos, you will know that I have been preparing myself to stay in the hospital for a while, but not for 2 weeks, and not exactly in the way that things happens, because at one point I couldn't take any of those antibiotics they put inside of me, any of those tablets that I was swallowing like every 4 hours. I was just eating medication, fasting for scans and not finding out anything about them, and breastfeeding at the same time. My baby has been fed with antibiotics, like, you know, ask her which one you haven't tasted, which one you haven't tasted. She was like a robot. At 2 weeks could just flip her head up and down like this, and my mom's like, too much antibiotics for you. Yes, so this is what happened. My stomach is still huge, as if I'm 5 months pregnant. Yes, and I was this so not supposed to be a surprise for me, because I had a diastasis recti from my bone, and I knew that this time around it's going to be difficult to lose the stomach again, but apparently this time it's going to be even worse, because the whole of my stomach is painful. I'm still waking up in the morning with pain, and I'm still taking pain relief every single 4 hours, even though it's been a month since I had my C-section done. I guess because it's the second time with a C-section, it's taking longer to heal and it's hurting more. I don't know. I'm still struggling with digestion. I had even part of my stomach that is filled with fluid underneath the skin, which one of my friends told me that I'll be fine with, because at the hospital none of the doctor were like, they just like, the scan didn't show anything that we should worry about, so we guess it's nothing to worry about. It's much more worrying when people tell you things like this. Hello, we need to change. I know, let's do that. So I was telling you about the place on my stomach. Touch is actually numb to my touch. Only thing that worries me is the pain and the fact that my stomach is hard. It's hard and it's not soft, and I'm just basically tired to go to the doctors, because last time that I asked again about the pain, if it's normal for me to be feeling this much pain after a month, and they told me go and see the GP, and I'm like, no, I'm not gonna go, because with my boy, when my stomach wasn't going down and then I was complaining about it, they basically were like, go and exercise, and I was like exercising, and after I realized that there's something wrong, so I started doing my own research, and then I find out that I had a diastasis recti, and this is me finding out by myself. Nobody told me about it, and it's so bad, because guess what, I've been doing exercises that I shouldn't be doing, and I'm like, why would somebody not take 1 minute just to look a little bit closer? And this time around it's almost the same. This is the way I feel about it, like nobody really cares, and especially people that are supposed to be caring about that. I mean, I should not, focusing on googling my health all the time, because you don't know what you're gonna find on Google, because this is Google basically. But then instead you go to the hospital to get some help there, and guess what, they're the last person that want to care for you. I'm a little bit upset about that. This is my experience when it comes to the GP. I have little experience with those that have been very caring and just like, oh, let's have a closer look and see if it's nothing. But I'm so grateful for my doctors this time around, my obstetrician and my sister daughter, and they've been so nice. They are nice people anyway. So yeah, I left the hospital not missing anyone, but to be honest with you, they did so much, and I don't know, I feel like, I don't know how they wake up every single day to come to the hospital to see people that are going through hell. You must be very strong. For all of you that are nurses, midwives, doctors, and I pray that God just keep, strengthen you. I went through those baby blues where I was crying like it's my fault. Baby is having those cannulation in her hand, and she had it done 3 times, and the second time she had it done, when it came out, it just was a splash of blood all over me and her, like blood everywhere. And that was the time I couldn't help it but just, I was crying. I was like, oh my gosh, why did I make you go through? But yes, it's just to be on the safe side. That's why they were doing this to her, on the safe side, because I was having sign of infection. She might get it, but it wasn't the case. So thank God for that. But she's fine, she's been good, she's good, she's putting on weight. Last time they weighed her, it was we are Monday today, it was last Thursday, she was weighing 3.8. So basically it's now that I'm having the baby the size of my boy. Before she was so small, I was like, oh my gosh, she's so small, but I like it. She was a good weight though. She was a good weight. 3 kilograms for me is a good weight because it's sickle cell disease. They always tell me that my baby might be smaller than the average baby. With my boy, it was not the case, so this time I wasn't scared that it would be the case either. Actually, I have a good sized baby. It's just that she's petite like me, and I love that. I don't really like the fact that I'm a petite because people tend to bully you. Yes, it's true, but I'm really happy she's a petite as well because she's gonna enjoy that when she grows. Simple. So I think I've said everything that I wanted to mention. If I forgot something, I'll probably write it in my blog post. And yeah, so this is it. Follow us on Instagram if you want to see how we're growing, and I'll put her newborn pictures there as well because I know this she's like old woman already. Yes, you are. Alright guys, thank you for watching, and I guess I'll see you in my next video. If you have any video suggestions, go ahead, give me some suggestions, and then I'll see you in my next video then. Bye, and thank you so much for watching.